Hello and welcome to tonight's Blender stream. I've just realised I haven't actually updated the stream title, which I should have done earlier. But yes, tonight we are going to be working on Blender. Doing some more work on the wonderful spaceship that I have been working on. Hello Snowtwig, how are you doing today? Hope you're doing well. Right, let's just update the stream title so that we can actually show stuff off. Right, so update the stream title, and good to hear you're doing okay. I am doing pretty well. Managed to get a fair bit of work done today, and I've caught the Blender bug, really. I'm getting quite into things. So if I let's see. If I bring us over to our main view, I have mostly finished up the exterior of the ship. So you can see here, if I go to a front view, it's kind of flat on top, and sort of you have these short stubby wings, and it curves down to have a nice belly for storing lots of space to play around with. From the side we've got our cockpit here, and it goes to the tail at the back, which all nicely curves up. And I have probably done this the long way, where for a lot of this I was actually manually extending and connecting vectors and doing like small extrusions here and there. So there's probably a lot of stuff I could have done, but I managed to get this mostly finished after the stream on Monday and last night. But also last night I've worked somewhat on the interior. So if I had the exterior, you can see our ship now has an inside. And I've managed to shape these so they fit in, but they are going to give a nice foundation on which to build on. So up here we're going to have the bridge at the top. Over here is going to be the room where we actually stick my screen on the wall, and we're probably going to spend a lot of time working on stuff. Over here is going to be some element of crew quarters, and then probably a lift going down. Initially it was going to be stairs, but I realised a lift is probably going to be better. At the back is going to be the engineering section, and if I had the upper deck, you're going to go down and you have the crew quarters down here, and the back is going to be like an additional part of engineering. So this is going to have areas for crew to stay and various other things. There's going to be like storage and stuff. So I'm not really concerned about exactly what the layout is going to be downstairs, because that's going to come much later, much later. What we want to focus on is this upstairs area, and what I want to do is stick some walls in, because initially each room was its own mesh, and what I have done is put this all into a single mesh, because I realise, well, we only need these to be like individual faces, but any interior walls we need two sides to them, so it's going to be easier to model those separately. They also need doors and so on, so I'm going to do that separately. So I want to stick windows in, I want to stick some doors in, because we need doors going off to the right, to the left and to the back. I need to finish this front bit where we've got the windows, because you can see we've got this opening here, but we also have the ship exterior, which has a slightly different shape. So what I want to do is sort of basically mesh these up, because I want this outside mesh to be separate to the inside mesh, but the inside mesh, basically for the windows, I want to have separate meshes for each window, so I can stick those in and they will basically cover the gaps between. So we want to get the windows in. Then I want to add a few bits of furniture. Now I'm not going to do too much, just basically the essentials, like the essence of the set. So there's going to be a sort of control panel going along here. I may not even put any controls on the control panel, just get the basic thing in. A basic chair in, a table in the center, and then over here we need some sort of screen on the wall. And then finally, you'll notice that neither the lower deck or upper deck have a ceiling. Now I was going to extend the mesh up, but what I've realized is what's probably going to be better for ease of modeling and doing some trickery in Unity if needed is to build the ceiling separate and maybe even make it more modular, so I can have an engineering ceiling, a bridge ceiling, it may be in multiple parts and so on, because sometimes I'm going to want to hide parts of it and sometimes I'm going to want to show it. So that may be something that I just sort of build modular, fairly basic on top, just so it's something that can be removed, because when I'm modeling the interior I just want to hide it and I don't want to have to mess around with positioning the camera just in the right place or having to go into wireframe mode to see through stuff. So that's how we're gonna handle that, and then we can just have like some pipe work or something that goes around the side that hides any seams and stuff. But that is what we're going to work on this evening, see how much of that we can get done. You'll also notice there's a cube here. Now this is a cube for reference. It is referencing the size, and it is referencing the size of the most important part of this entire stream, which is Pokebot. And if I switch over to viewport shading, you can see Pokebot in the stream. In the spaceship. So I'm using this to sort of work out how big I need things to be, because Pokebot is not human height. They are much smaller. The 3D model version may end up being a bit taller and so on than this. I may tweak the proportions when I do it, but I don't imagine it being that much bigger. But this is useful to do because then I can work out, okay, how big do I need things to be? For example, let's just move Pokebot over to here. If I'm going to have a screen there, where do I want to position the screen so that I can stick Pokebot and have them run towards the camera and away from the camera and so on, and work things out. So that may be things such as this wall may need to sometimes come out, and I may need to almost fake this where when we go in, this is a fourth wall that just simply is not there in the model, which would make things a lot simpler, because there's going to be a wall here and the camera's going to be able to, because the places that I'm imagining the camera is, there will be a camera sort of, there's a wall going along this area here. And there's going to be a camera somewhere in here that's going to be able to follow all around, and maybe when I get up to the bridge it will move up to there. But really all you're ever going to see of here is this wall here. So if I swung a camera around there so it's looking and it gets a bit of a better view of things, then I'm going to be basically doing all sorts of trickery to make things look right. So having this for scale is very useful for knowing how big do I need a door to be, how big do I need the controls to be, and so on. So this is my reference cube, the Pokebot, the Pokebox bot. And when I first start using the stream, this is what I will be using as my character. It will just be a box with my character's face on it, because I want to go as minimal as possible to get started on this. So we just need the bridge here and this room here to be minimally configured. All the other rooms, like downstairs, we don't need to even think about. These rooms, there'll be walls and there'll be doors, but there'll be nothing on the other side besides the rest of the mesh, because I don't need to get that done. It's focusing on what I need. So I'll get the absolute basics so that I can start pulling this into Unity and making it interactive, because that is the critical thing. I want to start making this interactive, have my character running around, make sure that I can get my screen showing up and getting the cameras and the lighting in. So hopefully if we can get the model done this week, I have got Unity downloaded and we may start playing around with Unity as well and just start getting things working, because I'm going to be building on this model for weeks, months, maybe even years, just adding stuff to it. So there's plenty that can be done, but I just want to get the absolute basics in so that I can start streaming with the new overlay. The aim is I want to be this little robot running around this set on your screens by the end of this month. So the goal is by the end of June I'm streaming using this. So we will see how things go. Have I done any cutting in Unity before? Yes. I have built some fairly basic games and so on in Unity, but that was several years ago and I have forgotten most of it, and a fair bit of what has gone on has changed. So there's a lot of new stuff that has appeared that has replaced the old stuff, and I basically need to learn from scratch. Well, not completely from scratch, because I have some idea of how it all works and how the UI works and everything, but yeah, it's going to take a little while, but I don't expect it to be too difficult, especially not to get what I need working, because all I need to get working is basic collisions, a basic character movement, which I believe there's a built-in character controller that you can use, and the cameras, which again you can use built-in stuff for the cameras. So if I can get all of that working, that is essentially the fundamentals, and that can help me start streaming. So what we are going to do is we're going to start building some rolls. So we need 3 walls, and I'm going to do these fairly basic. And what we're going to want here is this wall is going to have a doorway about in the center, probably. It may be over there. This is going to have a doorway either side, because, as I say, initially there's going to be a room, and you'll be able to walk around there to get into the rooms, but then you would have like going downstairs. What I'm probably going to do is it's going to be room, and you can walk in to get to them, and then here is going to be like a lift down, because that way I can have a lift and then I can have a sort of a cut down where I just transition to the next level. So also, because my robot just moves around on a wheel, there's a bit of the let's refer to it as the Dalek problem, which is how does it use stairs. So a lift is going to make stuff a lot easier. So we need a door, and then this wall, there's going to be a door in the middle. So let's start by making a plane. Nope, don't delete. I want to. Where am I? Now let's stick it in the middle. Then we can. So I want that to be -3, and then that wants to be 5.5. So how is everyone doing tonight? Are you up to much this evening while you're watching along? I have remembered, I have moved that, so what we are going to do is just go to edit mode, just move this along to there. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is go out of there, and we are going to duplicate this and move it along to there. And for both of these, I'm going to, nope, not Shift A. Apply rotation scale. Okay, so we are good there, and then this one. So I'm going to duplicate it. And rotate along Z. We've had an okay day. Did you get up to much, Snow Twig? Right. So let's scale along the X. Let's move that to there. Right, so where do we go? Set that along there. And then we're going to drag those on and go along the X to there. And I seem to be noticing if I join this wrong. Yeah. You did some blend stuff early, but kind of ended up vegging out, watching TV and games for the rest of the day. It's certainly not a bad plan. When you don't have the motivation to do stuff, it's best to, well, not do stuff rather than force it.
Distant silhouettes at the horizon. Sing a silhouette, affections tighten. Kindred ribbons spring us from our tether.
Okay.
Drifting vivid and together. Stay by my side. Soft songs in harmony.
Right, let's shift there. Shift that up to there. Because that should... Right, that should line up and that should line up. Aha! Why? Something is messed up there. Okay. Let's go to solid. Come out of that. So this, this and this. Want to shift to that collection. But we want to hide them. I want to work out what on earth is going on here. Because if I go into Wireframe,
Surf the golden waves on silken highway.
they are not lining up. So why are they not lining up?
Spaceships flowing bold and never climbing. Gracious moments hold us intertwined. Stay by
Right. So the Y is 296704. Is that just floating? .967. So let's everything along here to 2.967. Okay. So we'll bring so plane 2 is engineering wall, and I want that. Okay, and I'm going to zoom in here. Okay. .967. That should be there. Alright, so I'm going to have to do all these individually, aren't I? 2.967. It would be nice if there's a way to actually do it in Blender where you can just assign all the points to have the same value. instead, it seems to average them out. My day has been fairly good. I woke up fairly early today and spent most of the morning like trying to wake up and get my brain working, catching up on emails and stuff like that from work. And yeah, it's been fairly slow going. I've been for work, I've been doing a lot of refactoring work, so taking the existing code and changing how it works, getting rid of a bunch of legacy stuff, and that has been both interesting and boring. There are some bits where it's like you feel there's so much to do that you don't want to do any of it, because it's that sort of paralysis that you get when you have so much that you're working on that you don't know where to start, and it's hard just to keep plodding along. Now thankfully I've got to the bit where I'm getting some momentum going and I've managed to get at least one part working again. I've been in that part where it's like you've pulled all the wires and stuff out and everything is in pieces, and now you start putting it back together again and it's like, why did I ever start this? But I've finally got it to the point where I've got enough of it together that I can start actually testing that bits are working and finding which bits are breaking, and getting it to the point where I can start doing a proper workout what I need, what the next step is, and it being obvious what the next step is. Whereas with the stream, like working out what the next steps are for doing all the modeling and everything, that has been fairly obvious. Like I know I need to design the shape and then I need to get things into Unity and so on. So it's been a lot. This has been a much easier project, which is why I worked on it Monday and then continued after the stream and worked on it yesterday, and I'll probably do some more work on it tomorrow evening. It's when I get motivated and I can see the path to go down, it is just so much easier to do stuff. Let's do it left. Wall and right wall. So let's bring this up. Zoom in. Make sure that we are positioned correctly on this wall. Where are we? So that is positioned correctly, and that just needs a little tweak. Go to solid and okay. Try the basics of our interior walls. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to hide that, hide that, and even hide that, and we're just going to focus on this. So we have the Pokebot. And if I move it through, we need to work out how wide do we want these to be. Now, that is 5 meters across. So, I mean, how big would you want them to be in terms of the door? 1.5 meters, maybe, roughly, like thereabouts. So let's create a basic. In fact, let's create a new collection. We've got our left wall collection, and what I'm going to add into here is going to create a cube. The X is going to be 0.3, but the Y, let's set that to 1.5. This is going to be our proxy for a door. So 2 meters by 1.5 meters, because if you imagine they're going to split in the middle and they're going to slide either way. Let's make it 1.5 by 1.8. Right, so I think that portion's maybe a bit off. Let's do 1.2 by 1.5. That's looking a bit better. Because that's 3 by 2. Yes. So we make that 3 by 2. That is going to be okay. So what I'm going to do is take this and duplicate it a few times over there. And then I'm going to try something. I'm going to try and remember Bevel Modifier, isn't it? Boolean. There we go. And our object is yeah, so the object should be there. Yes, Starlight Brigade is stream safe. Twerp have said that they're fine streaming. Now, if you do it on YouTube, then YouTube will demonetize the video. You won't get a copyright strike, but it will demonetize it. But on Twitch, you don't get anything for it. So it's one of those things where it's generally fine to do. I mean, I've been very careful to try and get music that is stream safe, where the artists have explicitly said this is stream safe, where it is stuff that isn't from big artists that is far used in streams and so on. So I've tried wherever I can to get that, but even then on Twitch I've had videos basically muted in places. That's why I record locally now as well as streaming, so that I can always have the full VODs available to me. Yeah, I believe that is the same for all the songs, because I do have a few other twerp songs in the playlist. I have Synthesizer and Disco Volante, I think it is. I can't remember if I have something else. But yeah, twerp are generally fairly happy. They're generally fairly happy to let you use their music on streams. Right, so am I doing booleans the wrong way around? Do I need to do a boolean? I bet I know why. If I just do that, and then I come out, and then I add Bevel Modifier. No, that's it. Doing that. Union. Okay, so that's not working on there. So then do I have to do it on Cube then? I don't get this. Why is when I am I missing something? It should just be a Boolean operation. So if I add a Boolean to that, I have to hide it. Okay. So if I apply that, okay. So if I bring up the upper deck again, That seems to be a good place because then you can see it on both sides. Okay. So its dimension is currently 0.1 meters. Let's just bump that to 0.2. I want to bring up cube and just make sure that that is through there. Okay, now we can hide that. Okay, so what I am going to do is yeah, I think if I do this once, because what I'm probably going to do is for the walls is I'm going to want to model the doors as well, because the doors I want to be a particular shape. So I think if I do that, then it's going to be easy enough to copy paste along. So let's clear Pilkybot out the way as well. Make sure I save. Okay. So this is the location I want. Let's take one of these and bring this along. Now we want this. We don't want this to be the same thickness as the wall. We want it to be slightly thinner. So if we were to do 0.1, that should be good. And then if it's currently 0.2, yeah, we want it to be like that, and we're going to want two of these. Now we can thankfully make these fairly simple, because if I duplicate that, moves that along. So these are going to be simple, but what we want to do, drift those, place them there. Okay, so what we actually want to do is, rather than 0.6, we want these probably to be 0.7, just so that we have a little bit more to play with. Because now, so let me do 0.65 then. 0.65. Okay. So I'm going to shift those out again. So that is fairly good. What we want to have happen is these move in, and what I want to do is give them a nice bevel. If I go in, If the Bevel Modifier. Okay, so this is going to be where I need to learn how to create vertex groups. Because I've read a lot about them, but I have no idea how you create them. Aha. Menu vertex. Okay, so where is the vertex panel? Okay, so Object Data tab. Is that separate to the Object Properties tab? You not what?
So many nights and days alone in this vessel to search for a new home.
So here
So many
it's saying that we have the vertex group panel are maintained in the object data properties in the vertex groups panel. So where is the object data panel? So you have your tools, and then you have all your properties here. Object data, there we go. Okay, so if I select that and that. Alright, so assign that to the group, and we'll do that in the edge. Okay, we're getting somewhere. So we can have our modifier, bevel modifier. There we go. I want it on there, but
Synthesis complete.
what I'm wanting is this to basically be just a nice 45-degree. There we go. That to be about there, and then I can increase that. Like so. And then what I can do is apply a do that. There we go. There's probably a far simpler way of doing that, but I am doing it the way I know how to do. Right. So, what I am going to do is just increase that bevel slightly. That should... not 0.125. There we go. So we'll do that, and then we will... and apply, and we'll delete that take this and then shift along the Y, rotate along that. Y. There we go. So we shift those into there. We have a nice bevel on them. So this is the shape of the doors. But what we want to have is I want to have this going in sort of a diagonal. So it's sort of going to go up and then at an angle along and then down at an angle. So what we're going to do is take our cube and I'm going to go in and we're going to do a loop cut. And I forget roughly where I want the angle to be. That looks alright to me. And then what we're going to do is select this and scale in the Y direction, actually. Go here, and the Y direction to get roughly the angle that I want. That looks alright. So we had that again. Oh. Y. Okay, so we're nearly there. We could leave that flat, but what I want to do is put a nice trim around. So how can we go about that? I think what we can do is we're going to take this and duplicate it. We're going to duplicate it again, and then we're going to scale up a bit. And then, oh, no, I want to scale that in the X direction. Actually, what might be better to do something that will give us a better thing is if I scale this back down the X direction. What I'm going to try is so what I want to do is actually, if I do you go away. No, that's not letting me do that. Okay. And there. Like that. Now, what I'm going to do is extrude. Have I thought about what colours the ship is going to be? Yes, I have. If I bring up PureRef, so this is the PureRef, and what I'm thinking of doing is something that is a bit of a mix between the Voyager colour scheme, which is a lot of greys with like hints of lighting brought in. I mean, these two are effectively the same colour scheme. It is various greys and whites with blue thrown in, but the difference is this is a much darker variant of this. This is a lot more white in, whereas this is more mid to dark greys. Now I'm thinking of going along the route of like greys and whites and blacks for most of the colour for two reasons. And I'll probably be going towards the darker side of it because my character is a very pale grey. So it's going to have a nice contrast if my bot is like very light grey and dark grey and the ship is more like a mid grey, so there's going to be the contrast there. The other thing is that I'm going to have lights around and those lights are going to be coloured, and I would like to be able to change the colours. For example, make them flash red when I get a raid, but it would also be nice to allow chat to redeem the ability to change the colours of the lights on the ship. So by going with a grey and sort of white, a very grayscale ship, that lets me bring the colour in through the lights, and it makes it easier because then it's just grayscale with an accent colour then. So that's roughly what I'm going for, something along the lines of like maybe somewhere between Voyager and the Orville. Because again, these are both very good because this is all greys, greys, greys. There's some brown there on the seats, but everything is grey. You got a little bit of red going back there and more of a brownish grey on the door, but almost all the colour is from the lighting. And same here, it's sort of creams and greys and more greys and blacks, but then it's just the lighting here that brings it in. I mean, you can even see it down here on the end, like the JJ Enterprise. It's again whites and blacks with blue bringing colour in. The only difference is they have red on the floor. So yeah, I think that is probably the approach I'm going to take because it helps make things stand out. Now I probably won't be going as bright as like 2001 because if my character is going to be sort of a light grey, I want them to contrast against the back. The reason 2001 works is because this is all white and black and the spacesuits are all orange. If this was a white spacesuit, they'd want different colours back there. But yeah, I think that's roughly what I'm going to go for. I mean, you can sort of see here, you've got a mid-grey here, and what's kind of interesting if you think about it is all the background characters are also in a mid-grey. So all the background characters sort of fade into the background. But then you've got the general here in bright blue who sort of pops out a lot more. So it's interesting to think about that stuff, how it's going to work. I mean, I'm not a designer, and if I was a designer, I would still be nowhere near someone like Doig or Onster in terms of the quality of their colours. But having a look here, I know enough basics about colour to be able to play around with this, so I mean, what I would like to do is try and make things a bit, maybe a bit different, maybe add a little bit more lighting effects and reflections and stuff compared to what like Doig and Gwilym have going on. Like, not go overly realistic, but just add a little bit more atmosphere. But that's just going to be something to play around with. Right, why can I not? So that is extruding. But there are options for it, and is it shift click? No, no. Why can't I bring up? Ah, it's click and hold. Extrude along normals. No, I think... No, it is that's going there, so I do want to extrude along normals. Let's very extrude individual. What difference is that making in terms of proportional editing? Okay, let's just stick with that. Right. So what I want to do is if I go in here, I select that. I want to merge. Like that, and then merge at center. So that we're gonna end up being that. Hi Cocktail. It is not, well, it is a late stream, but it's not late for Wednesdays. Wednesdays I'm usually streaming sometime between 6 and 8 PM ish. So it's later than my usual streams, but this is working. This is what I usually do on a Wednesday. What I need to look up. Naughty website that is complaining, saying, "Oh, accept our cookies," and then it's "Oh, if you don't accept the cookies, then you don't have access." It's like, I think that's technically illegal, but okay. So if I go in, I select that. Oh, you just feel like you usually only see me live when I've stayed up when you've stayed up way too late rather than waking up at your usual time. Yeah, Wednesdays I'm usually streaming this time. I'm trying to use the Wednesdays to work on other stuff other than coding, because by this point of the day my brain is generally gone. Aha. Shift V. Is there a way to slide? There's an edge loop. Transform, scale, rotate. I want it to go beyond. Okay. I am going to just run to the loop and to get a fresh drink, and then when I come back I'm going to work out how to get this sliding working, because this stream is as much me learning how to use Blender as it is me building. So I will be back in a few minutes and then we'll see if we can get this door working. See you in a little bit. Okay, I am back, so let's get back into it. Alright, Blender slide outside of Alright, let's have a look here. If I select a vertex, I shift V to move into vertex. Aha. Okay, so I can do that. Why wasn't it letting me do it before? So what I want to do is go into here, shift, I select both vertices and zoom in. I should be able to shift V, hold option, and slide up to there. One, 3 or 2. Oop, no, that was the wrong thing. It said 1, 9. There we are. So how are you doing today, Coco Type? Are you up to much? Hey. So the Y is 5883. Change that to 588. 3. Looking at it, these edges need lifting out more. Be about that big. Nah, this is not working. Getting started on the day job work. It's a Jeff is the only weirdo here who enjoys using instruments. Yes, instruments is certainly fun if you're into that sort of thing. I use instruments when I have to, but usually not much beyond that. Right, I am going back to option 1 because so I'm going to duplicate that and leave it there, and let's scale in the X direction. No, scale in the Y direction. This will be much better if I did this in Wireframe. And I can see roughly how big it is. But yeah, instruments is something that I use when I have to, but I can use partially, but it's still one of those apps that is a bit too beyond me, once you get past like the basics of the time profiler. Like the time profile is about all I can really use. Don't get to use it often, but sometimes things are slow enough that people complain a lot, and devs are like, I've looked at logs and didn't see anything weird, maybe we need more logs. I know that feeling a lot. Logs, where we're going, we don't need logs. Yeah, instruments is very powerful. It's just a bit like Quartz Composer, so time profiler allocations and network collection. So I did used to use allocations and the memory leak stuff quite a while back, but I've actually found that the memory graph in Xcode is usually more useful for memory issues. Like I find more memory issues using that than with instruments, and it's a lot more intuitive to me. But I mean, the time profiler is by far the best one there. I'm still a bit annoyed that they removed, there was a fantastic auto layout instrument that they ended up removing, and I wish they hadn't, because it was very useful. Gave a lot of debugging functionality that you wouldn't have got otherwise. Right. Right, so now we have this here. Let's go back. We want solid. Get rid of that. And what I am going to do is add a Boolean modifier here. And that. Now we can hide that. And then we have our archway, which, if I move back to there, we should be able to stick in here. Like so. We want to hide. Oh, we want that one. We want to oh. That needs to move through there. Okay, so then if I had, oh, if I had that. Okay. What I want to do is take both of these and just scale them down just touch, and then scale that down just a touch. Add it. Then we're not getting problems there. Then we can take these and shift those in. About there. And I think that looks pretty reasonable for a door. What we probably want to do is take this here, and we're going to scale it in the X, make it a bit thinner because we don't want a massive trim. And then these, we are going to go in the X-axis and just roughly center those around there. So that looks pretty good. Okay, so that we can delete. So we have right door, left door, door trim. Now we are going to apply that. And then we can delete that. This cube we are going to duplicate, but on here we are going to apply that. Actually, we can probably get rid of that because we just want to keep that cube. Let's move that out of left wall and up to there. Let's bring our upper deck back in. I would say that looks pretty good. What do you think, chat? For baby's first blender door, I think that is not too bad, even if it did take far longer than it probably should have done. Right, so let us bring up. So we want our left wall here to shift into there. I want to now create a new collection. I'm going to call this right wall. And we're going to take our right wall here. And we're going to move that into there. Hi Fahrenheit, happy Wednesday. How did your stream go? I had to dip out after the last round of Chalk Boom because I had, well, my own stream to start. Oh, so you finally got that working. That's awesome. Meanwhile, I have been messing around in Blender. Doing such wondrous tasks as creating a door and creating walls. I have to do some code cleanup and keep alive stuff and it'll be ready for PR. Well, hopefully you managed to get all that done and get the PR up. Because I know you've been talking about all this IRC stuff for a while, so it's good that you've managed to get it all done, managed to get it all implemented and working. Yeah, you had a similar thing this earlier today. For my contract stuff, I've been doing a lot of refactoring, and I finally managed to get all the code I'd pulled to bits put back together. For anyone who doesn't know, you should check Finite's stream out. He has a absolutely fantastic stream, a lot of great interactive elements that are all hooked up to Twitch and various things, and find out works on is it TAU Twitch API Unifier, if I know the acronym correctly, which is to help work out, help you deal with the Twitch APIs and so on. So I mean, feel free to post a link in chat to your stuff, Finite. Right, so this again needs to be 0.2. And let's hide our, no, hide that. X-axis. Right, where do I want these doors? I've just realised I have done something wrong. I need to go all the way back and undo. I haven't got enough undo things. Okay, let's redo then. And I'll do this another way. Right, if we go to Wireframe, that needs go to there, I believe. Yeah, so that is the height that I want. So if I go back, I want to bring this back up. So I want one of those, and I want to duplicate it and bring it back there. So if I bring back the upper deck, so this is going to enter into a lift, which is probably just going to take up there. And then this is going to go into crew quarters. So I'm probably going to have a wall there. Well, probably going to have a wall coming across and then a door in. Yeah, I think this is going to need to be much closer to there. Because I'm effectively going to be needing a door there and a door there. Because if I divide this, we have a wall coming along. I suppose. I mean, the other, because I mean, is there much point in having this here? Because if I think about what I'm having, like I'm Probably massively overthinking all this, but I want the ship to make some sort of sense. So you're going to come down here. There's been some crew quarters around. You're probably going to have crew quarters, crew quarters. Some bits and pieces all around there, because you're going to want like a sick bay and some storage and stuff. Down here is just going to be storage at the back. How many crew do I want to imagine of being on here? I mean, you've got a robot automating a lot of stuff, so let's say I could probably fit 2 or 3 crew quarters down there. So let's say upstairs is the captain's quarters, and it's going to be a bit fancier. So you're going to get into there, get to the captain's quarters. He's going to have quarters, he's going to have his own like bathroom, shower, whatever. So that simplifies that, because the initial plan was you'd go through here and there'd be stairs leading down, but then you'd get into 2 sets of quarters there. But I think just doing that, that means that we can move this down a bit to there. Okay, so to this I'm going to add a... No, I don't want a mirror modifier, I want a Boolean modifier. And I'm going to take that and that, and move to collection, new collection. So this modifier is going to be... Oh, I need to switch to collection. Collection 6. And if we hide that, we get that there, and then I can apply. And we will shift that. No, we will shift that. And the x-axis, in fact, we can get rid of one of those. What I am going to do is bring up the engineering wall, and all we want to do here is go in, select the face, extrude it out, exit edit mode, make sure that it is 0.2 centimeters wide. This we want to rotate along the Z. Yep. And we fix that back there. I want the X coordinates to be identical for these, because we want this dead in the center of door. Okay. And then we're going to do similar thing here. Back a bit. And then we're going to add our modifier. Boolean object is going to be the cube. We can hide the cube. And then we can apply. Okay, so all we need to do now is move that to engineering wall. Want that in there. This is going to be interior. Right, so we have left door, we have right door, and we have door trim. We are going to duplicate all of those and then move there. And we want these to be about center in there. And then probably want to be in wireframe mode for this bit. In Y. Let's go back to solid mode and hide our upper deck. Goes to right wall, I'm going to hide that. That should hopefully be about where we want it. Hopefully. We will see. We would be in a bit more that way. There we go. And then we're going to duplicate again. And I'm going to shift that to there. I'm slowly getting used to the hotkeys in Blender. There are an awful lot of them. Okay, and then we want to shift along the x-axis. We want to rotate. Along the Z. Along the X until it's in a position that we want, and then we want to move it along the Y, get it to where we need it to be. Should be about there. These ones need to go into engineering wall. Okay, so if we go to solid, I have no idea why that just hid all that. Open up upper deck. Oh. Why is it? Oh, there we are. It switched mode. So there we have our walls and our doors set up. So what we can do now is completely ignore this and completely ignore this because we don't need those for the initial version. What we need to do going forward is build up this room, because in fact let's just create, we've got these here. There we are. This is going to be conference room, and in there we want to create a cube. Now the Y dimension is going to be 0.05. And then for the actual dimensions, what I need to do is stick that about there, and then we need to work out how big should this be, because this would be our screen. So we want it to be 16 by 9. So .8. So this wants to be 1.8 divided by 9 times 16. Which actually fits fairly well. So what I need to do, is it possible to hide face? No, so what I'm going to do is just delete that face. And then we're going to create a camera. If I come out of there. Probably want the camera to be about the center of the screen. I want to shift it up. Active camera. Okay. Fact, can I if I go to the camera, what I want to do is basically fit this on here, because they should be the same aspect ratio. So if I scale this up and position it, then I should be able to just pull that back, along the Y. And then it's just a case of zoom in, zoom out, which I should also be able to do with the focal length. Now, question here is, where is Pokebot? Pokebot is there. So, if I shift that along here, and I go into here, Where is Pokebot going to be? What we could do with doing is bringing that up. So, what we need to do is probably shift that down, and then where's our camera gone? The camera's there. Let's shift the camera down as well. So you could have it here, and Pokebot could just be. Oh, I hit him. Pokebot could be going along the x-axis, so moving along here. In fact, let's just see, is he actually on the floor? Oh, so the floor would be about there. If we go in, you'll be able to move along the x-axis. But if you move towards the camera, so we almost want this camera to be able to go probably want a larger focal length, and then up to the side. Yeah, let's undo that. So we've got that camera. What we probably want is to take the camera, so this is screen focus, but then we probably want another version that is just a bit further back. And for this one, we probably want the focal length to be and this is going to be our boom focus. Okay, so let's do a render with this. Oh, actually, we need a light. Let's just bring a light in. Oh, wrong thing. Shift A, light, white light. Just going to be nice. Right, let's say 120 watts. So what we'll do is stick one there. Okay, so we'll go and make that the active camera and then render. In fact, let's do a quick bring up Streamline and just quickly take a screenshot. And what we're going to do on here is materials. We're going to add a new material, and this is going to be screen. And on the screen, I want to go to our shader and this we're going to want to drag into our project. So if I go to streaming 3D overlay ship, texture, right. So if I drag that onto there, we have our screen texture, which we can set as the base color. Now, that is fine because we're going to go into UV editing. And right, so take that there we go. So we don't care about that or that. We don't care about those. You care about this one. And what we're going to do is 0.5, 0.5, and then scale in the X. So we get to about there. And scale in the Y until we get to about there. There we go. So that will do. So if I go back to here and render. Okay, so we have our one rendered there. Save as close up. And I'm going to switch camera to this one. I'm going to render that. So I'm going to save that. I don't want close up. Zoom view. And what I want to do is set up a very... So I'm going to save here, and then I'm going to set up a very quick animation. So insert keyframe for rotation, for location. And then 2 seconds to go to there. And then I'm going to add that. 2 seconds to go to there. Actually, no, that needs to be... Actually, let's make it... I like 2.5 seconds. Go to here to add all channels. And then we are going to go back a bit, the center, and we're going to all channels. So what I'm going to do is, if I do, well, if I play this, you'll see that I am moving through all of this. So we can end at 220. And I go to layout and look through here. We can see what it looks like as I'm moving around. And then we can go to this camera and same again. What's it look like as I'm moving around? So I think what I may do is a similar camera move to Gwilym, where I'm sort of fixed. I can only go horizontally while I'm in this mode. And when I exit the zoom, like if I exit the zooming mode, then I can move around the room, but then it switches to the far out camera. But I think what I'm going to do is switch to this camera, because I would like to render that animation out just so I can post it on Twitter for what we have actually got done today. So let's start it going. This is actually going surprisingly fast. Am I using Eevee then? Probably am. Yeah, I'm using Eevee, so it looks pretty good for Eevee. So Eevee is the faster render that faster render engine that Blender has. It's not quite as good as Cycles, but these are. I'm 40 frames in. If I rendered this with Cycles, I'd probably still be on the first frame at this point. So we're going to get this full animation done pretty quickly. But I think this is looking quite good so far. So I'm going to have a screen. If I stick stuff on the back out up the top for the roof, that'll help enclose it in better. I probably need to extend the floor back and get rid of this wall and make it like this a proper thing, because this is going to be the main set. Everything else I can do almost do Resident Evil style things where there's a fixed camera and I just move around and I cut between cameras as I go through doors and so on. But this is going to be the most important one, because most of the time it's just going to be I'm on the bridge talking to people, or I go into this room and talk to people. The rest of the ship is just stuff that I can throw in for my own fun, coming up with lore for what has happened, like why is this ship that has space for multiple crew empty except for this robot, what goes on in the engine room and so on. So yeah, I think it's all coming together fairly well. All I need to do, this room now is basically good enough for the most part. As I say, I just need to extend the floor out, put a roof on, and get rid of the wall a bit more. For the bridge, I just need to put a bit of furniture on and sort out the windows, and then it should be good to put into Unity, which should be fun to do, because then, I mean, it will probably end up looking like this. The screen should probably look better because I won't have it be affected by lighting in quite the same way, though I have to say it looks pretty good, like pretty lifelike for a matte display with light shining on it as it looks now. I mean, for something that like there isn't really much in the way of textures, and this is just using Eevee with no real effects on it. This actually looks incredibly good. So I'm pretty pleased with how this is looking. So okay, that has rendered. So if I go to ship output. Oh. Okay, so where is it rendered to then? Oh, it's rendered to temp. So now I go to Blender render. Image. No. I don't want to do that. Okay, so do I need to go to slash okay, so if I select all of these, get a new folder, drag those into the new folder on the desktop. Okay, so now I have a folder here. I can select all of these, open up QuickTime. And open image sequence, drag all these in, choose media, and prepare the video. Yes, this is going to be Unity. I mean, this entire thing that I'm building is going to be my new stream overlay, so it's all going to be a Unity, effectively, game. So rather than me just being a little character on the screen down here, I'm going to be running around the ship. And the ship is going to be the actual environment, and chat will be able to do things such as, I mean, the classic thing is throw stuff at the robot, but there'll also be things like, one thing that could be fun is turning on and off gravity, changing the desktop theme of the robot, so I can have different themes such as like what you see now, but also pixelated ones like the emotes, or maybe a terminal theme that is like green on black. Change the lighting on the ship. Change where the ship is, because there are those big windows on the bridge looking out, and it would be nice to build additional like environments outside, just playing around, where chat can say, okay, they want to travel to somewhere else, and then I can just go and pilot the ship, and like there's some camera effects that I want to try play around with in Unity. So this is just like messing around in Unity, messing around with Blender, having fun, and building a much more interactive and engaging stream. And you'll probably end up with something ever so slightly like this, but with better lighting and stuff like that. So oh no, this has nothing really to do with Streamline, except for the fact that it is what the stream will look like when I'm developing Streamline and developing Coppice. So this is just me having fun, being inspired by Doig Swift and William with their streams, seeing Finite stream and how interactive that is, and just realizing that if I want to make the stream something that more people watch, just having a stream where I've got a robot in the corner and I'm just typing away in Xcode, that isn't very interesting. I want it to be a lot more interactive, a lot more fun. I still want to have a large part of it just be me coding, but I want to make it a lot more visually interesting, a lot more interactive, something that chat can get more involved in, and hopefully help grow the stream, because it seems that all the streams that do well, a lot of that is some degree of making it more interactive, more interesting, something that shows up. So yeah, this should hopefully help. And if it doesn't, well, I'm having fun doing all this. So I'm learning new skills, having a blast. So yeah, this has been a lot of fun. So I think what we're going to do now is go and raid, as we often do when they are on. We're going to go and raid Kurzak, because that is usually where I go. And Kurzak is a wonderful streamer who does animation, art, great stuff like that. So we'll go over and say hello to Kurzak. So I want to thank you all for coming along and watch me do some Blender work. I will be probably doing a bit more tomorrow off stream, just messing around. But on Friday, probably be a long stream, working, I don't know how long, but doing as we did on Monday, spending some time working through Streamline, and then probably finishing off doing some more Blender stuff. As I say, I want to try and get this overlay working by the end of this month, and I'd like to get Streamline into a place by the end of this month where I can use it on the stream. So if I can get those two syncing up, that would actually be pretty fantastic. So yeah, that is our aim for this month, and once all that's done and we're past Dub, which is happening next week, it will be back onto Coppice for the next version there. So hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, a wonderful rest of your week, and as always, happy coding.